The boonboomger's latest crossover movie is on the horizon, so why don't we take a look back on their first Versus movie event. Hello everyone, it's thomasjujube, and before I talk about Bakugage Sentai boonboomger vs King-Ohger, be sure to let me know what you thought of the movie down in the comment section. Did it meet your expectations? Did it fall just short of them? Anything and everything you think about it, let me know. I have a lot to say about this one, but before I do, if you're interested in any of the toys they show off in the movie, make sure you check out today's sponsor. JP Fans is a Japanese proxy website that lets you buy from Japanese marketplaces like Mercari and Amazon Asia. You can shop for thousands of local Japanese items, including the newest Kamen Rider toys and gadgets, or pre-owned Super Sentai robots from many years ago. Items you wouldn't normally see on your local Amazon, and much cheaper compared to the prices on eBay. And compared to other proxy sites, JP Fans has lower service fees per item, so if you've been hunting for that one specific item, or just want to explore what Japan has to offer beyond tokusatsu merchandise, you've got to use my link in the description to sign up and instantly get 8 shipping coupons to make the trip from the private warehouse to your house that much easier. If you'd like a full tutorial on the site and how to use it, make sure you check out my JP Fans introduction video, and stop overpaying on your tokusatsu toys and start shopping like a local at JP Fans. If you're curious on my thoughts on the individual seasons, I do have a full season review on both King-Ohger and boonboomger, and a few other movie reviews on both shows if that's not to your liking. My feelings on either season aside, I think this movie's amazing. I think it's a very, like, by the books, but incredible Versus movie. There are just so many little ways they've combined the lore of both shows that was very unexpected, and it makes the whole movie very satisfying to watch as a Versus movie. It does help that both shows did start introducing intergalactic space travel elements in their second half. Bug King and the car racing shows from like their posters to end up having so much space elements, but they do. So having the King-Ohgers show up to sign a treaty on a planet from the boonboomger movie while the boonboomgers are on their super space race just works. I love that the Sand-Seeders are working for Yanma now. Like, so they're in the movie as like his lackeys. It's the last pairing of characters I would have expected, and it's not even like a big part of the movie, but it's cute. And that's how I feel with all of the character interactions here, basically. Like, a good chunk of this movie is the cast split off into their different groups and just having fun. And as I've said in my previous videos, the main reason I watch one of these Versus movies is to see the different casts interact. Like, the two teams I've spent time with actually meeting each other. So if you want to make most of your movie like basically just a slice of life with all the characters, that is completely fine with me. The pairings this time around like are a little more cliche, but then they also surprise me with a lot of the little things. Like, the girls are all paired up again, which, you know, usually I'm like, okay, you know, let's throw the girls together, sure, I guess. But they have this little joke where Mira says the King-Ohger characters are going to stand out in their dresses or, you know, their outfits, but they're in like a cosplay fair, so she's the one who's standing out, so now they have to have her dress up like a queen, a King-Ohger character. That was really fun. Then Rita's really more paired up with Boondario, both in the sense of Rita thinks of Boondario kind of like a big Mofun, I guess, and I forgot, like, until I saw this, but Boondario had like his little plushie he was a fan of, and Rita obviously has Mofun, so that was kind of fun to have the two of them work with. The other one that I really liked that was surprising is the Black Rangers are, like, their differences are highlighted by the other characters. Like, Jeremy straight up says, like, oh, it's kind of cool that Joe's, like, treated like a king here because he's so nice and, like, he doesn't have any secrets or anything. Like you, unlike you, Kaguragi, huh? Like, his own Black Ranger, he's like, you're a piece of shit. This guy's awesome. So I thought that was like a good little bit. And then at the same time, Jeremy's paired with Genba, and them becoming friends is like really creepy because like they're kind of the same guy. Like, I wouldn't have expected the white Sixth Ranger and the orange member of the team to be like kind of the same character personality wise, but they are, and it's scary how well they get along, but it makes sense. Sakito, I feel like, doesn't talk to any of the King-Ohgers, which is kind of funny, but he like knows about Doug Dead, so that was kind of a funny lore bit. He's like, oh, there's this really bad space monster they're trying to bring back. Have you guys heard of him? And the King-Ohger's like, okay. But Sakido does end up fighting, like, with Rita in the finale because they're both purple. So I think it was kind of fun, and even in the finale, they're, like, pairing characters up the way that you would think or wouldn't think. I don't know. Taya and Gira are, like, the only two to end up on Chikyu. So they have, like, this big cavalry arrives moment to save Bundario and everyone else. And again, even on the planet, they have little moments like Yarukar's eating gasoline from the Shugadon screams so that he can highway beam everyone back to Earth. And Gira gets to fight on the car. I don't know why that was such a big segment, but it was fun to see. He doesn't know what cars are, so I guess that makes sense. And then he eats Boom Boom Curry in the end, which is, little things like that. Having the Red Ranger of the previous show eat the snack of this current show, or at the time current show. No, gozyuger was airing, so I don't know what you would say either of these shows are, but it was fun. In general, the two teams interacting in the finale was just so cool. Again, more of the little moments, like the Kings riding the Boom Boom cars was a good bit of fun. The whole cast saying to give the robots King-Ohger powers is so fucking awesome. I love that they got the power up, like Bundario and Bune Diesel. Like, I think that's really cool that they get that, and they use the mecha parts. Like, I can't think of the last time we got a robot power up in one of these movies. I guess technically the the Kira Major movie, but it was CG Zenroku Zenkaio, so I don't know if you count that. Even the villains get to be combined in interesting ways. Like, the main two monsters here are a King-Ohger monster and a boonboomger monster. But their goal is to revive Dugdead. And I think that's a great plot for a movie because, like, we've all seen King-Ohger, or ideally you've seen King-Ohger if you're watching the King-Ohger crossover movie. So we know how bad Dugdead is and how bad of an idea it is to revive him. So just a small detail of like, oh yeah, we're trying to bring back Dugdead is like, let's not do that actually. Like it sounds bad and it raises the stakes very easily. And then the final boss of the movie being a normal boonboomger monster powered by Dugdead. It's like, I don't know, it's cool. Like it's a nice simple like kind of like fusing of ideas. And even the monster has a ton of jokes in the movie. Like, it's funny, a very funny boonboomger joke to have a monster be a manhole cover, but it's able to teleport across the universe. Right? And then his power-up mode, using the power of the king of the universe, just being, he turns into a black manhole to black hole. Like, funny joke. And then Bundario has this line where he's like, oh, by the way, it's actually, you should be called manhole cover monster, not manhole monster. And Bundy's like, why are you saying that? Like, I love how boonboomger this monster felt. And he is a boonboomger monster, but like everything about him felt like it's straight out of an episode of that show, which is pretty cool. I do think it's stupid that Minagon is here. Like, the lore makes sense because in the show, he was the only galactic insect not outright blown up, defeated, and he was frozen. But the reason they did that in that show was because trying to blow him up and defeat him would bring Dugdead back. They literally showed that in the show. They literally explained that in the show. That's why he was frozen. So I really, like, it bothers me a lot because, again, it seems like they watched King-Ohger. Like, they know you would have watched King-Ohger if you're watching this. But you probably forgot, or maybe they were hoping you forgot that Minagon just can't blow up like he does in this movie. Like, I really thought they would do a little something with that, or even that because they freed Minagon in the last movie, the kyoryuger one, which I did do a video about, which you should check out. I thought that they would reference that in this movie, but no, I don't know. The best part of the villains, though, is that they make a car monster out of the OG Caliber Zero. It's a gold repaint of the sword monster from the show, but it's voiced by the actual OG Caliber voice. I did go and check, and it's like uncanny because like the monster keeps saying like Lord Finish, but he doesn't say it in the inflection the toy does, but it's obviously the same voice saying it, so it's like what's happening here? And like he even says okay. While I was watching it, they do make a few references to the OG caliber like being used by the characters, and I was like, it's very weird they keep talking about the OG caliber 0, but not the guy who was using it the whole show. And then at the end, he straight up quotes Heracles, and I'm like, what are we doing here? And then Gira gets flashbacks to Heracles, and he's like, I'm not gonna let you disgrace Heracles' name, bro. Like he was doing that for a reason. Bam, got him. And look, it's not an excuse for Heracles to not appear in this or the kyoryuger movie, but it is a suitable replacement, I think. I'm happy that at the end of all of this, we still got a little bit of Heracles action. I mean, just having his sword turn into a monster and running around is so cool. I can't think of the last time or any time we've ever got something like this. And it's like such a small part of the movie that I hope, or I wish, I don't think this movie needed to do more with that. But I think it would be cool to have some, well, I guess there's no other Sentai things they can really do with this idea, so maybe I'll just stop right there. But it was a really cool sight to see for the end of the King-Ohger timeline. So I do have one more boonboomger video / movie to take a look at, but that's way off in the future. So make sure you go and check out my previous videos and subscribe for that upcoming boonboomger or any Super Sentai video. Check out my Patreon for the full extended footage of this and my other videos, and I hope to see you next time.